All right, folks, welcome to Dragon Worx and a very interesting situation that we're going to work on together here. 2000 Suzuki RM250, and my customer just did a bunch of work to it. He rebuilt the motor. It's got an entirely new top end on it and what have you. And then when he got finished, he had no spark, or he may have had no spark to begin with, but you know, he had to do this other work, and now he's at the point where he tried a few things himself that he knew about trying, and then once he felt like it might be over his head, he decided to bring it to me, see if we could figure out what's going on with it. Now, the interesting part is, I originally just brought it in the shop here and set it up on this old stand, and I was just gonna check the spark and see if I could figure out real quick what it was so I could get it ordered and what have you. And lo and behold, with the spark plug out, I could only get, what it's doing is I'm getting less each time. Something's jammed in there. What it's doing is now it's not even letting me get that. It might be because I got it up here, but it only allowed me to get about a quarter of a turn out of this motor. And then it's hitting something, but then, like I say, I can get a hold of the teeth on the clutch basket and spin it backwards a little bit. So something is really grinding and caught up in here. I don't know what it is. I can rock them back and then it'll kick again, but it's hitting a hard spot. It's not even turning over. I got with him. He said he don't remember any problems with it, but he only tried it a couple times with his hand, and that's all I've done so far. I didn't even get it to turn one time. So we got to figure out what's going on. First thing we're going to do is just pull off the clutch cover. Well, first thing we're going to do is drain the oil, and that's another thing. I wanted to start the video because I noticed the drain plug is not all the way in either. Really hard to see. Hold on. There you go. Now you can see the threads of the drain plug. So it's not in, and I'm only doing this to document it, okay? Whoops, sorry, because my customer doesn't understand what could possibly be going on, and either can I by what he told me. Now look, this thing is loose. It's either loose or stripped. I don't know yet. Okay, so anyway, guys, it's gonna get better. Let's get the camera set up here. All right, guys, let's get, sorry about the fan noise, but it's a little warm, so I'll do my best to eliminate it. But let's pull the plug and see what we got here for oil, and we'll see what it looks like in the pan. That might tell us a lot of stuff. I did find some metal shavings on the fill plug up here. Drain plug feels a little funny, but that's not too bad. Oh, come on. Oh, okay. Oil looks good. Okay, guys. Little bit of shavings. Hang on, I'll get it. Hang on, I don't know. It's like a lot of that is bubbles, so let's wait a minute. Let me get a rag. All right, folks, this was a clean pan when we started, and we got quite a bit of metal, but I'm not too excited about it because it could be residual, or you know, there's going to be some in there. Sorry, it's actually hard to do this because of the reflection. The camera's not wanting to pick it up, but I think you can see. Not very good, but let me see if I can move some different light, if that'll help. All right, guys, sorry. you had to take my word for it. When I dump this out, we'll see it a little bit better, but let's move on. I got to get the brake off, and we'll pull this cover first, see what that looks like. And then depending what we find there, we may get the whole side cover, and until we find out what the heck's going on, because this thing is not turning for sure. It is, something is hanging up. I don't know. Where's the camera? Yeah, good enough for now. So let's try to see this together. Oh, okay. Well, that's not tight either. A lot of things not tight, but like I say, he was in the middle of getting this bike back together, refurbishing it, something to that extent. That's how I do that. Okay. Well, not seeing anything there. It sounded, when I was kicking it, it actually sounded like maybe something was rubbing this cover. You know, like this part of the plate and everything was rubbing the cover, but I don't see that at all. That's what it seemed like, but. Might be in that motor. Yeah, I don't see nothing here. This is where it seemed like it was coming from, but nope. It don't seem that way now. Yeah, see the transmission. So what we have here is, that means the transmission's free. That's on the counter shaft. This basket has a gear that's on the crank. I still got the camera in the right spot. Well, the next best thing would be to strip I can always pull the head off, drain all the coolant, and pull the head, see if I can see anything in the cylinder. So this is also a great example. I explain this to my customers and future customers all the time of how my schedule gets so crazy. Because this bike came in, I thought I was going to kick it over a couple times, check for spark, find no spark, start diagnosing it, find out what was wrong, order the part, and then it was going to sit for a while until the parts came in. Then I would actually get it up here and work on it. But because I found this situation where it won't even kick over, now I'm starting to dismantle the engine. So if there's any coolant in here, I got to drain it out, take off the head first, look down in there, see if I see anything that jumps right out. If not, then I got to pull the carb off, the exhaust off, all the coolant lines, the exhaust valve, and get the top end off so we can actually see what's going on. So that's what we're going to set up to do here. All right, before I go tearing the motor all apart, and he's having no spark issues, I'm going to pull this rotor off here and make sure something isn't bound up in there, because sometimes it'll get stuck, but yeah, see, it's stuck. I don't know, wishful thinking, but I thought I heard something scraping behind there. All right, this is all chewed up. The end of the crank is chewed up, and the threads down in there are all chewed up. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get my puller in there to get this off. Oh, all right, let me see what I can do. I could be wrong, but it sounds like maybe something behind there came apart and it's just caught in this rotor. I don't know. That's wishful thinking. Well, I'm still working on figuring out how I'm going to get this thing off of here, but I did notice working this thing around back and forth, and I tapped on it a few times. It does feel like something might be, I could be wrong. Oh, now I got it stuck, but I was able to get this engine turned around a pretty good bit there just by getting that loose. See? I don't know. It's just a shot in the dark, but but of course this would have already been off if the threads and everything weren't so chewed up inside of here from my puller. See, this has got a thread in there, and I don't know what happened to these threads, but somebody's got them all chewed up. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get that thing off of there, probably in a not so nice way. Couple threads, but I don't know. Don't think it's going to be real successful. Maybe 2 threads. This is an old trick I learned a long time ago. Getting like a nut on a bolt and the threads are a little chewed up. Tap and turn. Try to cut some new threads. All while making sure you're not messing up your good threads. None of this is a good situation. The only thing I can do here is maybe try it lightly and hope for the best. Stand by. Whoop. Well, I was about to go get the wrench for this, but look. Did we get lucky or what? And then there it is. There's our problem. Oh boy. Ain't my first rodeo. The bolts came out of the stator. They backed out. And been in here rubbing all around and catching. Now watch the engine will spin freely. Let's go on the other side. Wait, let me zoom you back out. Okay. Okay, here's the motor. All right. Yeah, I got nervous there for a little bit. It sounded like I thought it was in here. Remember what I said? I thought these bolts here were rubbing this cover. That's what it sounded like. But lo and behold, it just resonated through here and ended up being something similar on this side. So yeah, look at this. Stator's just in there wobbling around. And right here, you guys can see that's a screw head. There's another screw head. It's supposed to be like a Phillips screw there, so maybe it didn't get them tight, or boy, I hope they didn't mess up the case there. I don't know, didn't get them tight or didn't put some Loctite on them. I mean, they don't usually need it, but I don't know what happened, but we found the problem. Now we just got to fix it and get this thing running for the guy. Looks like we might need a new stator. I'm gonna have to get it out of there, but it looks like it got chewed up a little bit. Maybe not. I think the rotor might be okay. But like I told you, hold on. Okay, this is what I was trying to show you earlier. I cut some new threads in there, but somebody had these threads. Hold on a second. Oh, chewed up, look at that. And I just barely got like a thread and a half, 2 threads on there. And for whatever reason, it wasn't very tight. But yep, there you go. So yeah, once again, like I said, this is how my schedule gets all crazy, because like I said, I thought I was going to spend, an hour on this diagnosing it and think maybe it's a CDI or something, and have to order one and wait for it to come in. And then next thing you know, here we are, 3 hours later, and we're tearing the bike apart, trying to solve the problem. So, man, you just never know. All right, guys. Now I got to assess what all we need here, and then get with the customer and get this stuff ordered so we can get this bike up and running for him. Okay, you guys know me better than that. I'm going to try to figure this out now. So I've just got a couple screws and a bolt here. Cleaned all this up, put it back in. I fixed the rotor up a little bit. I'm gonna put that on just to see if the thing sparks, or if I can figure it out from there, or anything, why I'm right here doing all this. So yeah, we'll just make lemonade out of lemons. See it? Yeah, it's hard to do it without shaking it. Okay, yeah, I just temporarily did this just to double check it, and we do have spark. It seems a little bit weak. As you saw there, it's probably really hard to see. It's hard to film it and kickstart it at the same time, but it does have spark now. Now I'm interested on getting it down and see if the thing will run. All right, guys, let's give it a try. We got spark. I got a fuel bottle hooked up. Hey, what the heck? It don't look like it's much spark, but maybe that's all it'll take. Let's give it a try real quick. Can't hurt, right? Hang on. Let me get set up better. All right, let's try this again. Let me look at the plug real quick. I don't have much recording space right now, so stand by. Yeah, you can see there it got a little wet. Like I say, it's a real weak spark, so let's see though. I'll clean it off. Maybe I won't choke it. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's give it another try without so much fuel. It's got some drips. Yeah, it looks like the drain plug is stripped out. Not yet. Of course it wouldn't be that easy. I just thought we'd give it a try. But like I say, that spark looks weak, so might still have to figure this thing out. Thought it'd be a miracle we get her running today. That'd been cool. Yeah, it's hard to see now. I turned the fuel off, but you might have saw it. Gas is just dripping out of that carb. So the float's either sticking or it's not right. So that's going to make it a little tough on a two-stroke. Yeah, it looks like it's getting really wet there. The carb is overflowing, so I don't know if it's just sticking from a fresh rebuild or if the float's too high or what. But we might not get lucky. Might have to dig in here a little bit further, but I'm going to try it a couple times, guys. And then, you know, I still got to get the stator straightened out. I got to get the right screws for it. This spark looks a little weak to me, so got to check that out. But let's see if we can end this day with a big victory. Okay, guys, so this is the plug that was in the bike the customer put in. This is not the correct plug for this bike. You see that the electrode is kind of big and fat down there. This is a similar plug. This is not the one that goes in the bike, but this is a really popular plug. And you see the difference in the electrode? So that might have something to do with it. I'm going to try this one to see what happens. Can't hurt. All right, let's give it a couple more tries. I don't know what it's going to do. I think I got a little bit of tinkering to do to this one before she runs, but it still seems a little weak. But sometimes they seem weak and they start up good. I shut it right off because it was revving. I got to check this carburetor's not quite 100%. But yeah, the carb's just overflowing. I'm having a heck of a time. I took the air cleaner off to compensate for too much fuel, maybe get more air in there. And then I gapped the plug a little bit more, and that worked. But as you saw, it revved up, so I'm not sure where the slide is on this carb. I'm gonna try it again. Lower that down a little bit. But this don't sound like it's, I don't know if it's returning all the way. It seems like it's part throttle. Let's try it again. That's why you don't give up. Yeah, we got a little bit of work to do here, but what an adventure that's been, huh? Whew, I got to get this smoke out. Came in for no spark, and boy, we found out why, didn't we? So then I kind of put that stuff back together temporarily. After I found out that it was just the screws were loose, it wasn't letting this turn fast enough to spark, so I got some temporary screws in the stator. I put this rotor back on temporarily. I did get it to spark. We found out I didn't have the right plug. This still isn't the right plug, but I know this plug will work. It's a racing plug. It'll work in pretty much any 250 two-stroke. And we're having some carburetor issues. The slide's not going all the way down. You can see it's part of the way up. I've backed the screw out a bunch. I've had it all the way. It's still not changing anything. The float is either sticking or set wrong. Right now I've got the fuel off, and if I turn it on, you saw it was just pouring out of the bottom. So yes, it will run, but we certainly have some work to do here. But what a day, huh? Checking for spark and then finding all that, and then still able to get the thing up and running, and haven't even bought one part yet. Okay guys, whew. I didn't expect for this today, just like same thing happened a couple days ago with that Harley. But here we are, and the whole day spent on this bike, and well, it paid off because now we know. Okay, I messed with the length of the cable here a little bit, and let's see if I can get a little control on it. A little better control now. Turn the fuel back on for a little bit. It's going to overflow, but I just want to get some in the carb. Since we burnt so much. Now let's see if we can get it to somewhat idle. All right. If it'll start back up, right? I got the gases, that carb's overflowing a little bit like you saw, but there you go. So yeah, go back to basics. Cable was just tightened too far right here. So I loosened this up, spun that cable in, and it finally let the slide go down. So yeah, that's what you do when they're revving up. But anyway, hey, we made headway. Still got something going on with the carburetor we got to work on. I don't know why it's overflowing, but we'll figure that out. We got spark. Seems to be manageable now. Getting idle, revs up, all that kind of stuff, but just not quite 100% there. So, wow, what a day. All right, guys, this is really the end. Until we get it all worked out and get it together, and then we'll do some rips on it. But not on this video. I got a little bit to do. Got to get with the owner. And then maybe on the next video, we'll have it running better, put all together, and we'll take some rides. So stay tuned for that one. Peace out.